Xiaomi's HyperOS 3 has finally brought the island feature. And hey, this island can even turn into a floating window now. The all-in-one theme editor is finally here too, which makes things a lot more convenient. Look, now there are more watermark styles, and they actually look pretty good. But what's really wild is that now you can actually use an iPhone to control your Xiaomi phone. The familiar word art lock screen interface has now become My Combo. You can see here they've added a classic lock screen, and you can also see brand new wallpapers. Why is it called My Combo? Because when you go in, it not only lets you change your lock screen, but it can also change your home screen, including the blur effect on your desktop. Now, we've added a new set of combos. After you pick a photo you like, an AI-generated option will appear below. It will analyze the photo and, whether it's static or dynamic, offer you a variety of styles to choose from. You see, you can generate completely different dynamic wallpapers. Besides wallpapers, I want to talk about the clock, because in this version, the clock is no longer tied to the wallpaper. As you can see, besides the classic lock screen, there are also options like the oversized clock, Eastern aesthetics, and photo magazine styles. You can use different lock screens, and you can also turn depth effect on or off. After saving, all you need to do is select Apply, and it will change both your lock screen and your home screen at the same time. Now that we're on the home screen, let's look at another change in the UI, the app icons. We put a phone running HyperOS 2 next to it, and it's easy to notice that the icons for messages, settings, gallery, calculator, calendar, and so on have all become, you could say, more eye-catching or perhaps a bit more refined. If you don't like it, you can also switch back to the original classic icon style in the icon settings. Xiaomi has kept those for you. At the bottom of the home screen, there's a small bubble that looks like glass. This is the brand new spot for search. Just tap it to quickly launch a search. I have to give this feature a thumbs up. After entering the home screen editing page, pay attention to the 4 icons at the bottom. They also have a bit of a glass-like effect now. When we're organizing the home screen icons, each interface at the bottom also has a subtle glassy feel to it. Oh, and there's something really important, the widgets. You see, the blur effect has changed, and finally, there's categorization. It's been a long time coming, folks. Haha. And as for the entire status bar at the top, besides the Xiaomi Super Island in the middle, the icons have also been redesigned. We'll talk about Super Island in a bit, but first, let's talk about the icons. I think the most obvious change is the battery icon. Compared to before, it's now much easier to see the remaining battery percentage inside. The control center has also changed. Compared to the previous version, it seems like the blue and white colors have swapped places. Do you guys notice that? At the same time, the corners of these icons inside have become just a bit more rounded, and they're a little closer together. Since this is a subtle change, I'm not sure if you guys can notice it. Also, if you long press some of these icons, it's not hard to notice that the blur effect this time is different from the previous version. After all, in the new OS 3, you can even see other icons in the control center blurred in the background. Did you see that? Next, let's talk about some changes in the system apps. First, the calendar. See it? They've added a seamless animation. The interface for calling someone has also changed. Do you see it? The whole icon is bigger now. You can quickly access your notes, save information that others tell you, or record audio quickly. Anyway, I think making it bigger is definitely a good thing. There's another subtle change in the call interface. Look at the bottom, they've added a slight blur effect. It might be hard for you to notice. What stood out to me the most are the changes in the camera and photo album. Let's talk about the camera first. I really like the brand new watermark switch. You can see the watermark styles at the bottom, and you just tap to switch between them. At the same time, you can also quickly edit right on this interface, and this time they've added a ton of watermark options. Here, you've got Leica watermark, standard watermark, check-in watermark, classic watermark, and even this film-style watermark. There are also a lot more different watermark displays now. Let's take the classic watermark as an example. Select it, then tap the last option to edit. See this box up here? It can turn into a colorful blur, or this kind of blur, or just pure black, pure white. I personally like this one. The key thing is to look at this area. You can choose to leave it blank, or put in what looks like a censored profile picture. Of course, you can also choose your own profile picture. At this point, when you take a photo, not only can you see the phone model at the bottom, but you can also see, hey, your own cool profile picture. The second important update, in my opinion, is this photo album. On the second screen, you can see they've added a new, frequently used section. The items in here all feature a seamless, one-take animation. And if you feel like the frequently used categories aren't enough, just scroll down. See here? There are options like ID cards, bank cards, and documents. Just long press to add them to frequently used, and they'll be moved to the top. Honestly, it should have been like this a long time ago. In the settings, the UI has also changed a bit. For example, check out the device connectivity section and look at the icons above. In the system and personalization section, they've moved the combinations we just talked about here. In the AI wallpaper section, this time they've officially included 6 types. You see them, right? There are beautiful women, kittens, puppies, they're all pretty cute. There are also landscapes, right? And then this last one, I don't really get it. Who is this one for? But to be fair, it should just be a reference for the corresponding AI style. There are also some small details. For example, when you long press a desktop icon, you see this blur effect, and even when you pull out the sidebar, the blur on the sidebar is a bit different from before. The transparency is just a little higher, or you might feel it looks a bit more like glass. There are also some small pop-up windows when you go back, but we won't go into those anymore. Now we've finally reached the part everyone has been looking forward to, the second section, Xiaomi Super Island. Now, when you play music, start a countdown, or charge your Xiaomi device. When you order a ride, a small island will also appear in Xiaomi's status bar. Xiaomi calls this the Xiaomi Super Island. When you tap it, it expands and you can see a very premium blur effect. Especially when you're playing music, you'll notice that the color at the bottom changes according to your album cover. Tap it again and you can enter full screen. Of course, pay attention. When we tap to expand it, it doesn't include the camera. Why is that? Xiaomi's approach is that for those apps with the small horizontal bar at the bottom, you can just swipe down to quickly turn them into a floating window. Doesn't that make the whole operation seamless? Then, if you pull it up to full screen, Xiaomi Super Island lets you tap to expand or switch to a floating window. What's even cooler is that when you're taking a ride, you can see the license plate number displayed up there, right? But only you can see this information. With Xiaomi's approach, you can directly drag and drop to the chat interface to send it to others. Their Super Island can store up to 3 apps at most. Even though it did come a bit late, the interaction and UI display are actually pretty impressive. If you think the video is getting a bit long at this point, hey, we're just getting started. Part 3, interconnectivity. For this part of the video, we have to bring in Xiaomi Car's good friend, the iPhone. Once you install the Xiaomi Interconnect Service app on your iPhone, you'll be amazed to find that your Xiaomi calls, texts, WeChat, and QQ, all of it can be accessed on your iPhone. The most important one is WeChat. Not only can you view messages, you can even reply and make calls. I checked, and you can even view your moments, though it's definitely not as smooth as using Xiaomi itself, but honestly, this is amazing. What's even crazier is that you can directly share photos from your iPhone album. Share them with whom? Share them with WeChat on your Xiaomi device. Just tap, send, and it goes right over. At this point, some clever folks might ask, what's the practical use of this feature? Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. When I'm at home, my Xiaomi is charging in the study, and I'm using my iPhone in the living room. It's just super convenient. Oh, and you can also quickly share files or photos from your Xiaomi phone to your iPhone or another Xiaomi device just by tapping them together. And look, it's not just the iPhone that can control your Xiaomi phone, your Mac can too. Check out this interface, wow. You can swipe left and right, tap. Honestly, it even feels smoother than controlling the iPhone itself. The main thing is transferring files is a given, but Xiaomi even added a find feature here. You can actually locate your Xiaomi phone from your Mac. Of course, all these features are available on the iPad too, and it can connect as well. What's important is, at this point I'm still using an iPad with iPadOS 26. The aspect ratio adapts and switches as well. And guys, pay attention, look here, it can even open the Xiaomi Cloud album on the iPad. You can upload photos from your iPad directly to the Xiaomi Cloud album. Is there any other experience like this? Part 4, Super Xiao AI. That's right, Xiao AI is now more powerful and more proactive. As we know, you used to be able to long press the power button to control it with your voice. You could also double tap or long press the little white bar to bring it up. You can see the UI has changed a bit too. And now, if you tap the plus sign on the Super Xiao AI interface, see that? It lets you quickly access a variety of functions. I think the most important thing is this. Images, files, text, you can go straight to Ask Xiao AI from the sharing interface. Next, in terms of user experience, it's really become more proactive. Now, notice when we long press the power button to bring up Super Xiao AI, you see there are 2 little suggestions here. One asks me to turn on eye protection mode, and the other offers to customize a weight loss plan for me. Okay, that's on the home screen. But what if we're in settings? If we long press it there, it tells me to check my Xiaomi account, adjust screen brightness, or open privacy settings. So that's for system apps. If we open a third-party app, like Douyin, and long press it, it will analyze your screen. Look, here it shows how to prevent your cat from getting lost. Lets you view videos you followed on Douyin, and even identify songs playing. It clearly knows what kind of video you're watching and gives you relevant suggestions to help you operate. Even more impressive, let's open the map interface. What do we usually want to do on the screen? Xiao AI knows. Long press it, and hey, you can choose to navigate home or to a nearby gas station. And even pick whether you want 98 or 95 octane fuel. And when you see a travel guide, if you bring up Super Xiao AI, you'll see it gives you relevant suggestions, like navigating to an address along the way or how to plan your route to Xixia. Plus, depending on the interface and the specific travel guide, the suggestions it gives are different. See that? For example, Here it shows what local snacks are available in Guiyang along the way. Besides proactive suggestions, I think the one-step direct access feature is also really worth sharing with you all. What does that mean? Watch this, open the Alipay medical insurance code. Guys, pay attention. What it opens isn't just an app or even a secondary page. It can go straight to a third or even fourth level page. Pretty convenient, right? Some people might say, why am I not familiar with this feature? Bro, it's not just for when you're fumbling around, it also serves people with visual impairments. Got it? Fifth, system-level AI experience. We'll break this into two parts. First part, I think this AI search is going to be super useful for everyone. Now, when we search for photos in the album, what do we search for? Search for wedding photos. It's really fast and super accurate too. It's not just you doing a fuzzy search. It'll also give you suggestions in the search, like summer of 2025, horn, or what was I doing back then? Man, that's kind of wild. Maybe I should blur that out. Anyway, as long as you enter related info, it'll bring back your memories. Second part, copy and go. Xiaomi finally added this feature. When a friend sends you an address, as soon as you copy it, look, it shows up right in Xiaomi Super Guide, and you can just tap to navigate there quickly. If a friend sends you a tracking number, once you copy it, you can instantly check the delivery status. If a friend sends you a password, just copy it and you can jump straight into Ant Forest. Part 6. Basic experience. Now, about that age-old question, at the beginning we mentioned that Xiaomi Super Guide has animations. Well, some system-level first-party apps have also added seamless, continuous animations. Now, when you swipe up on the -1 screen, you can also quickly manage apps in the background. This animation wasn't there before. Everyone pays a lot of attention to desktop interruption animations and often uses this to judge whether it's a knockoff iOS. So this time, we put Honor of Kings in a floating window, started screen recording in the background, and kept opening apps one after another. You can get a feel for how the animations perform. Honestly, no normal person would use their phone like this, but I think this performance is worth showing everyone. Of course, more than these animations, I'm more interested in whether there are any changes in performance tuning for the same SoC and the same phone. So we ran Genshin Impact. Yes, you heard that right. I used two identical Xiaomi 15 Ultras, one running Punk iOS 3, the other running Punk S2. These are the frame rates they achieved. Punk S2 got 59 FPS, and Punk iOS 3 got 60 FPS. The key thing to look at is the 1% low frame rate. And indeed, this 40